Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another journaling on a budget video. Today we're going to make faux tea cards. Tracy Fox has tea cards and she did show how to make them on her channel. And I looked them up to see if there were some more videos on them. I looked them up on eBay and on Google. I got some measurements off of Google for them because I really wanted to make my own. They're not something that I have seen here really in the United States much. I think they're mostly overseas. But I think they're just so cute. I love little things. I like inchies and twinchies and, I like the ATCs, but these are even smaller than that and they're just so cute and effective. I just love them. And so what I did was I got the measurements, and the measurements that I got are 36 millimeters by 68 millimeters for the white part of the tea card, which breaks down to 3.6 centimeters and 6.8 centimeters. And then for the picture part, I did 3.2 centimeters by 6.4 centimeters. And broken down into inches, here are the inches for the white card. Because those breakdowns were so kind of off or whatever, those would be hard to do. I wanted to do them in centimeters because that looked easier, even though I don't normally work in centimeters. But what I did was, I'm going to show you the cards real quick first. Now, Tracy on her, she darkened them down a little bit with some distress ink. And so I did that on my second set. This is my second set that I did. And I used Vintage Photo. So, between the two of them, this is the difference of what they look like. So these look a little older and more vintage. And these ones are more stark white. I think I kind of like the white ones better. But, and I just, because you can get 24 out of one piece of cardstock, I went ahead and I made them in groups of 4. So this is like a set of 4 tea cards that I did. And I just kind of went through these. All came out of a wildlife book. And then, oops, let me get here. And I think all of these came out of the wildlife book, but then I have the little rabbit and this one and the little ferret and the little field mouse. And then I did some flowers in sets of 4, and these came out of a flower book that some of them had the name of the flower on top. I thought that was pretty cool. On real tea cards, on the back of the tea card, they have the explanation and everything about what the picture on the front is. But we can use them just as, we can use them to just put on our pages. Or we can use them even to put little tiny journal spots, little tuck-in things. But I just think that they turned out so cute. And this one again came out of the animal journal. This is Eyes 1 because there's only one eye on though. And this set is Eyes 2. And I do like some things that are a little bit different sometimes. But I just love the way they turned out, and they're just so effective. These ones here came out of a bird book, and so some of them have the name of the bird on it. And this one came out of that same bird book, and then these ones came out of a different bird book. But I just think that they're just so cute. I really, really like them, and I think they look really cute in a set of 4. Oh, I hope that you are seeing those. But yeah, and you can just use any kind of a picture and put them on there, and they just turn out so pretty. And then this one came out of a little kid's dictionary, and it was about bees. So that this one kind of cute because it had a little explanation there about the honeycombs. But yeah, so anyways, I'm going to show you how to make these because they are super simple. So what I did was I took my ruler that has centimeters on it, and I opened up my guillotine, and I lined up 6.8 centimeters or 68 millimeters right with the cutting edge of my blade here. And then what I did was I took a blue marker and I put a little blue mark right there. Then I moved it over and I lined it up to 3.6 centimeters or 36 millimeters, and I put a little blue mark right there. Now that's the size of my white background. And then what I did was I went in and I measured to 3.2 centimeters, or actually no, this one here is 6.4 centimeters, and I put a mark. And then I lined up over here to 3.2 centimeters, and I put a mark. And so now on my, because my cutter does not have centimeters on it at all, so now on my cutter, these blue marks are where my white paper lines up, and the brown marks are where my colored pictures line up. And so I can just line my paper up to that mark, and then I know that that is the mark that I'm going to use. So, and then because I really, really liked them, after I found out I really liked them, I wrote the measurements on the side and which way I cut my paper. So I cut the long way is my 6.8 centimeters, and the short way across the paper is the 3.6. So I just went ahead and just put them in there. Oh, this is, no, along the long side is where I put, and that's why I put that on there so I could look at the picture, because I always get confused as to which way did I cut my paper to get the best bang out of my buck. So across the 11-inch side, we're going to cut our 6.8 centimeter strips, and we're going to get 4 of them with just a little tiny, tiny piece left over. And so we're going to cut those. Just make sure you get it straight. Since you have to center your pictures in there at the end, you really want to do the best is to have your lines straight. Okay, so this is our scrap right here. And then we're going to go the other way, and I'm going to line up to this little blue mark, which is the 3.8 centimeters. And we're going to get 6 going this way. So like I said, that winds up giving us 24 cards out of one piece of cardstock. And then I just like to sit in the evenings and go through my books and just kind of figure out which pictures I want to cut out to put on my little cards. And then I just kind of cut around them a little bit big, making sure I have one straight side, and then hold them up or put them on here and cut them. And depending on how you cut it, I usually wind up with a little tiny sliver, but sometimes because it's so close, if I didn't quite get one of them lined up or something, yeah, this is what I had left, just this one little sliver. Sometimes it winds up being exact. You don't have anything left over. But there we go. There's 6 cards, and now we'll cut the rest of these and wind up with 24. And then I'm going to grab a book really quick and come back and we'll do the photo part. Okay, so I have all of our little white cards, and we got 24 of the little white backing cards for our T cards. And then I'm going to do something that I hadn't done yet, but I've been thinking about doing. And what I'm going to do is, this is just a piece of cardboard box, and I'm going to cut out a template the size of the picture, which is 6.4 by 3.2. And I just drew a line on my card, so I had a straight line, and then I just went down the 6.4 centimeters, and then I just measured over 3.2 from here and 3.2 from here, measured down and then across. So I just drew myself a little template of the exact size of what our photo is going to be. I want to use the metal side of my ruler, and I am just going to cut that out. Now this does not have to be exactly perfect, because I'm not going to use this to cut my picture. I'm just going to use it to be able to look at the pictures in my book to see what it's going to look like after I cut it out, so that I know if maybe my picture it's going to be too big and it's not going to fit on my T card. And so this way it gives me a good idea of what my picture will look like when I actually do cut it out. And I'll show you how we're going to use this as soon as I get it cut out. And like I said, if it's a little bit off, that's okay, because you're just going to just use it instead of having to try and figure out whether your picture is going to fit or not. This is going to let you know. There we go. Now, this is just going to be our little viewing window. I'm going to cut it a little bit smaller so that it will fit more easily in my book as I'm trying to use it. Because if you have too much sticking out on the edges and your picture's like close to the spine or something, you might have a hard time getting it in there to see. So now we've got our little template, and I also just wrote my figures for the white size card and for the photo card. I'm just really loving these, so I have it written all over the place so I don't lose it and have to try and look it up again. So, and then what you're going to do is just take any book that you're using for ephemera. And I have, this is the World Encyclopedia of Animals, and this has lots of different size pictures in it. I've got a bunch of collage stuff in here that I can take out. And you're just going to go through and you're going to use your template. See, now this one here, I don't really want to have white edges on my picture. So this picture, no matter which way I put it, I can get the picture in there, but I'm going to have this extra, and I don't want that, because even this way, it's like, well, that white doesn't look too bad. The problem is that our backing card is white, so it's going to blend in, and our picture is going to look really small. Then we've got this little guy over here, and look, he fits in there perfectly. And isn't that cute? It's a whole lot cuter than that. I don't know that I really want to do lizard, but let's say, okay, this bird, can I fit his whole head on my photo? Or on my T card? And yes, I can. So that's actually quite cute. Or, see this ladybug? Not too bad. We can pretty much get most of it in there. So, and you know, because this is so small, there's a lot of pictures. You're not going to get the whole picture. We've got this, I don't know what he is. Looks like an elk or something. It's really going to cut off his horns, but it's not too bad. So yeah, so see, that would work. So let's just find a, oh, look at the little koala. They're cute. Can I get him? I can. He'll fit in there. If I cut him off right there, it's right about there, I would be able to get that one too, but that one's not very clear. This one is really cute, so I'm going to take him and I'm going to just make my picture bigger than I need it to be. I have a nice flat edge here. That's one thing that you want. It's nice if you have a straight edge to start with your cutting. So we were going to do him this way. Okay. So I'm going to, now what I do is, because I have my marks on here, I'm going to first, and I don't want to cut too much of this guy off. Maybe I could use him for something else later. So I'm going to go ahead, kind of eyeball where I think about that side's going to be. Now I have a nice straight line here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut it off right at the green, because I can see, because of my mark that's on my thing, I'm above his head about a ½ inch, so I'm not going to have to cut him off in order to make it fit. So if I cut that off there, I've got about a ½ inch of green on the bottom, and I'm going to have about a ½ inch of green on the top. Now I have to come over to my brown mark. That's the only thing when you're cutting them. Make sure you're using, if you do mark your cutter like this, make sure you're using the right marks. You don't want to use the blue marks to cut your pictures, and you don't want to use the brown marks to cut your white paper. So there we go. Now that picture will fit perfectly on our white backing card. And there we go. And he has about 1 centimeter on each side, or I mean about 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters on each side of the photo. Now, you can leave them square like this. The T cards that I saw, some of them were square and some of them had rounded corners. So you can do it either way. If you have a little tiny corner rounder, you can just round those corners. If you round them, you would just want to round them just a little bit. Now I did round my other T cards because I have a little tiny corner rounder that I used. So, but you don't want to do any more than that because you need to have white between, and I don't round the corners until after I put the photo on. And then the way that I put the photo on is with stick glue. And I have, the ones that I have done, I've not had any problems with. And I'm just using, this is Play School Jumbo Washable Glue. I wasn't sure if it would work because it said washable, so it's not permanent glue. It doesn't say permanent. I don't know if there are glue sticks that say permanent, but this one seems to work very well. So you just want to get a good amount of glue on there. And then hold it up and just kind of line it up. If you don't get it perfect, it's not the end of the world. I like to try and not get them crooked, but if I have more space on one side than the other, that's okay with me. And then what I do is I just use my lid. You can use a bone folder or whatever, but I make sure that I go to the back side and just burnish it down really well. And like I said, after doing that, I've not had any problems with any of the cards that I have. And there we go. We have a faux T card. Isn't that just so cute? I just love them. I am just so in love with them. I am so glad that Tracy Fox was showing them because I just thought that they were so cute, and I've been having a blast making them. Now, here is a flower book. This is the Time Life Encyclopedia of Gardening. And so there's just a lot of pictures in here. Now, fussy cutting pictures like this, to me, it doesn't work very well. Well, maybe on tags and stuff it works pretty good. But it works good for these T cards because you have the white background. You don't want to have, white around the edges of your flowers. So you could just say, that looks cute, or I like this flower here. I try and get a little bit of flower with definition. I try not to do so much where it's just all like this. Maybe come down here where they're a little bit more separated. And to me, that looks cuter than that. But it's all up to your taste. You just do it however you want to. And, in this book, there's just lots of different flowers. So you could say, do I like that? Or that? Or maybe I want it this way. And that's the thing, you can just see now it's not really fitting well this way, but it fits pretty good this way. It takes in all of these flowers with the green around them, and that looks really pretty. And then I try and find, 4 things in the same kind of category type thing, and I just make sets of 4. Now, if you like bugs, there's bugs in here, and you could do that. The only thing with the bugs is you're going to get extra, and you're going to have white edges, so that's not necessarily the best for a T card with the white around it. But we'll just quick do one more. These are really pretty flowers, but I don't know if I can get enough into... Actually, that doesn't look too bad. And that's what I do. I just kind of go around the page to see what I like the best. And I think my first one is the one that I like. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my razor knife to... So you can see I've already used my razor knife in this book. I like to use my razor knife, especially if I'm getting close to the edge of what I want, because if you try and rip it out, you might rip into that and not be able to get what you want. So now the thing is, I know that this edge is flat here. So because my trimmer is only 9 inches long, I can't fit the whole page in there. This side I cut. This side and this side are straight. I don't want to use the side I cut to make my first cut because otherwise I could be very crooked. So I'm going to use this flat side of the page, and I'm going to come above that a little bit till I can get closer to it. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm looking at my brown mark here because this is going to go this way. I I cut off the wrong one. That's the one I wanted. Well, now we're going to have to do this one because it's too late. That one is gone. So I'm going to line this flower up towards the edge of my cutter and my brown mark here to just kind of center it a little bit. And cut it like that. And then I have to decide, ooh, I think I want the top of the flower in my picture. So my brown mark is here, so that's going to give me the top of my flower. I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to cut it to the right length. And now I have to cut off the rest. Whoops, I need to make sure I line it up with the brown mark, not with my cutter. And then just make sure that you get it straight. And so there's that one. Now that did turn out okay. I was thinking I might just have to trash it and use it for collage or something, but actually I do like the way that that looks, so I'm going to just glue that on. We've got our little koala here. Just going to find my glue stick. It wouldn't be an Amy video if I didn't lose something. Okay. Let's get some glue on here. And just make sure that you get the whole thing glued. This is shiny paper. So with the shiny paper, you want to make sure you get the glue everywhere. And then we're just going to just kind of line it up. There we go. Turn it over. Don't do this part on your glue book or you'll glue it down to your glue book. I did that once. I just flipped it over while it was still on my glue book and did this, and then when I went to peel it up, I ripped my picture. And there we go. Now see, I'm a little bit shorter on this end than I am on this end, and that doesn't worry me. It's close enough, and if anybody's going to look that closely, well, then they don't need my handmade items because they're never perfect. But there we go. We've got one in each orientation, and aren't they cute? So I hope that you like this video. I hope that you make some tea cards of your own. They are a blast. I do these at night while I'm sitting and watching TV because I have my little cutter that fits right on my lap, and my glue book fits on my lap. So it's a nice project that you can do while you're sitting in your chair. And if you want to put a little bit of distress to them, you can do that. And if you put the distress on there, the way that Tracy showed how to do that was to use a soft makeup brush. And just put the soft makeup brush, just rub your soft makeup brush across your pad and then just go around like this because you don't want to get too much color. Maybe my pad was a little bit too new. Again, I used Vintage Photo, but to me it got a little bit dark. Now maybe tea dyed would have worked better. Maybe it wouldn't have been quite so dark. So on their own, they look pretty good, but when you put them next to the white, they're just a little extra distressed. And I did that after I put my photos on and just did the whole thing because I wanted the photos also to have that on there so that they wouldn't be too bright, because this is a really bright flower, and if I put it on the the antiqued or whatever you want to call it, aged paper, I think that would just be too bright. So I just did the ink after I put the picture on so that everything got just a little bit aged. So, but yes, that's how you can make tea cards. They're just so simple. And you can do them like I did in little groups of 4, or you can just do them, just I see a picture I like and that's the picture I'm going to do. So, thank you very much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.